Hey, what's going on, guys? Flick here, and welcome back to another episode of our FIFA 17 Career Mode Road to Glory with VfB Stuttgart. We have something a little bit different going on with the face cam today. I just picked up a new pair of glasses. I wanted to give it a crack for today's recording, but we have a huge episode ahead as we get into the January transfer window, and I certainly do want to make some improvements to this team with the money that we do have. And to make things even better, we only have one match to play on the 28th, so pretty much the entirety of this episode will be focused on transfers. With the limited budget we do have, it will be important for us to move on a few players from the club and look to improve upon the current transfer budget. We've got 3 players added to the transfer list. Hosegai was recently transferred to the J League in real life, so I'm looking to replicate that in this crew mode because he has received limited play time, along with Zimmerman, who's only featured in 1 or 2 matches. And then earlier in the season, you all voted that we should accept a transfer offer for Kevin Grosskreutz. In the last episode, you voted on what player we should add on a pre-contract basis, and Kolasinac did win that vote. There is a slight problem though, because we currently don't have the funds to afford the pre-contract deal, so we'll have to wait for a transfer offer to come in for one of our players before we can go in for Kolasinac. In the meantime, I do want to promote 2 of the players from our youth academy in order to fulfill our youth academy objective, and one of the players I do have in mind is Fabio Cortez. He's already 18 years old, so we will be requesting to either be moved up to the first team or released, so I think it's best that we just sign him up right now and offer him a contract. He's already 62 rated, which is not too bad for a youth academy player, and hopefully he does have a good weak foot and skill move. So we'll offer him up a contract, and the other player that I'm looking to add to the first team will be our scouted feature star Eusebio Nunez, looking very promising with a value of 300,000, so similar to the other player, we'll be offering him a contract. In order to better gauge the value of our players in the transfer window, I do want to go through a squad report and see what players are progressing and which players are declining. This is the first time I've seen that Baumgartel is unhappy, and the reasoning for that is that he feels he is underpaid. I'll look to offer him up a new contract here very soon, but let's continue with the squad report and see if there's any other unhappy players. On a side note, we have had the contract offer accepted for our 2 youth academy players, so we can get a closer look at what their stats are, and the first one will be Fabio Cortez, 62 rated right winger, 18 years old, pretty promising already in the physical stats. Needs to work on his technical stats though, and the main point of concern will be the weak foot and skill moves. He does have 4-star skills, high-low work rates, so that's perfect for a right winger, and that's really great to see. We do have one more player in Eusebio Nunez, and again, he's pretty good on the physical stats, needs to work on his technical stats. As for his weak foot and skill moves, 3-star, 3-star, I'll take it. Here's what our training will look like for this month. We're devoting spots to Baumgartel, Pavard, our 2 youth academy players in Cortez and Nunez, and also Coyote. I'd like to address Baumgartel's contract straight away because we've devoted a lot of training time into him, and I'd hate to lose him due to a demand to be transferred away from the club. I'm happy that he only wants 3,500 more on the wages, so that doesn't put too much of a dent into our transfer budget, and I'm actually going to bump him up to a crucial first team player. This might be the worst feedback we could have received when offering a new contract. Baumgartel doesn't want to sign an extension, and he's looking to move on from the club once his contract does expire. That'll be in about 3 seasons time, so hopefully he doesn't want to be released before then. We have our final scouting report attached from Mexico, and this has by far been our best network in this career mode, and I'm ecstatic that we've been able to add several Mexican talents to the youth academy. We will be passing on Gil Lopez. His value is too low, and I believe he is a player from the previous month's report. I have another potential target here, only 120,000 on the value, so we'll be passing on him. Maldonado, 66 to 92, only 80,000 on the value. And we won't be signing any players up from Mexico this month. But again, fantastic scouting report from Mexico, and I think we're going to get several of those players added to our first team. With our network complete in Mexico, it's time to set our scout elsewhere, and I've chosen Denmark as the country of choice because several Danish talents in the Bundesliga do come to mind. We've got the likes of Jannik Vestergaard and Yusuf Poulsen, so I'm hoping that we can find a physically strong player from Denmark in this 3 months network. We already have several transfer offers for our players, and a lot of Bundesliga clubs are starting to take interest in some of our standout talents. Alexandru Maxim being one of them. Mönchengladbach have approached us with an 8 million bid, and while that is tempting, Maxim is in probably the form of his life. I'm pretty sure he's currently the top goal scorer in the 2nd Bundesliga, so I'll be rejecting this offer for now, and we'll see what our second transfer offer might be. UD Las Palmas coming in for Mitchell Langorek, and of course I will be rejecting that because he is our first team goalkeeper, and we don't really have a suitable replacement. Yes, we have Grawl, but Langorek's played well enough, and 3.6 million is definitely not enough for me to sell him off. The final two transfer offers will be for Daniel Ginczek. West Brom coming in with a 13 million bid, and Wolfsburg coming in with a 14.5 million bid. Again, these guys are in the form of their life for us, and I'll be rejecting the offers for now. That doesn't mean I won't sell them later, but for right now, I'll be rejecting. Finally, we've received a transfer offer for one of the players we put on the transfer list. Kaiserslautern have come in with a 1.1 million bid for Hosegai. I'm going to look to counter that with a 1.2 million bid, get his market value, and if they do accept that, I'll be completely happy. Kaiserslautern seem to be sticking to their 1.1 million offer, which is fair enough, and due to time limitations, we'll have to accept this straight away and look to get that pre-contract deal going for Kolasinac. We've just received confirmation that Hosegai has completed the move to Kaiserslautern. It's unfortunate that we had to sell him to another club in the second Bundesliga, but the way things are going for us in the league, we won't be in the second Bundesliga much longer, so I'm not too fussed about it, and now we can get into that pre-contract deal for Kolasinac, which is pretty much going to be the highlight of this episode. He does want 30 grand on the wages, if I remember correctly, and that will be within our budget because we do have the increased funds from the transfer. So we'll offer up a 4-year deal. Of course, it will be a crucial first team player, and we'll see what he has to say. I had a feeling Kolasinac would say something like this. He doesn't feel like Stuttgart is prestigious enough for him, so that probably means we'll have to offer up more wages, and I'll bump up the wages to 40 grand a week, which is still a pretty good deal considering Toski is currently on 80 grand or something like that for his wages. So if we can get Kolasinac for a 40 grand a week deal, that's perfectly acceptable. And just like that, guys, we've had the pre-contract deal accepted for Kolasinac. All it took was a little bit extra cash, and now we're stuck with an interesting situation where we currently have Insua, but next season we'll have Insua and Kolasinac. So we'll have to think about what we want to do with those players, whether we want to keep both or whether we want to move on Insua at a later point. Obviously, Kolasinac won't be joining our side until the beginning of next season, but I still feel like now is probably the best time to do a player spotlight on him. The 23-year-old Bosnia and Herzegovina national is a native to southern Germany and actually spent some time with Stuttgart as part of their under-19 side, but since transferring to Schalke in 2011, he's made 117 appearances for their first team, netting 4 goals and creating 11 assists. In addition to his early crosser trait, he offers the strength specialty, which is fantastic for a player that hasn't yet reached his peak physical ability. In reference to his statistics, Kolasinac is a very interesting player. Although technically not the best on the ball, he has the lethal combination of speed and crossing ability, which opens up a lot of options for our target man strikers. To be honest with you, I'm still not set on what position I want to use him at. While he spent the majority of his early playing career exclusively at fullback, recently he's transitioned into more of a midfielder role. Considering that we have several departing loanees that classify as a midfielder, I think there's a good chance that Kolasinac will receive an opportunity next season to prove his worth in the midfield. More and more of these transfer offers are coming in, this one being for Zimmerman from Bielefeld, another second Bundesliga competitor, so I'm going to look to counter with 950,000, look to match his market value, and if this deal can go through, then we can potentially add one more player during this January transfer window on an actual transfer and not a pre-contract deal. Alright, great news for us. Bielefeld has accepted our asking price of 950,000, and I'm hoping that deal can go through for Zimmerman so we can get those funds added to our transfer budget. And along with that, we have our first scouting report back from the United States. I'd like to add at least one player from the US into our team, and maybe Dennis Player can be that guy for us. A value of 675,000, if I'm not mistaken. That'll beat the record for the highest youth academy player we've found through the youth scouting. And of course, it's another player from North America. There's just something about North America between Mexico and the United States. Maybe we'll have to scout out Canada next. And we have Anthony Sullivan, 68 to 94, value of 80,000, so we won't be adding him. Even if this is a transfer window episode, I think it's about time we get into some gameplay, and our lone match today will be against Bochum, who are sitting mid-table in 9th place. Somehow we have a 14-point lead over Union Berlin at the top of the table. I don't know how that happened, but let's look to make it 17. No major changes to our starting 11 for this match. Obviously, we haven't had to worry about any fitness issues choose, but one thing I have switched around is our substitutes. We have our two Youth Academy players, Cortez and Nunez, on the bench. And the reason for that is that we need to play them in 10 matches for the remainder of the season, whether that be part of the starting 11 or coming on as a substitute, and I think this match would be a great opportunity to start that trend. Here's the starting 11 for Bochum, who proved to be tough opposition in our previous encounter, but the thing I'm most curious about is the morale of our own players. We've got the likes of Baumgartel, who have rejected a contract extension, and the likes of Maxim and Ginczek, who are receiving sizable bids from big-name clubs, so I'm hoping that their ego isn't boosted. Tons of space here on the right, and Gentner will play through Julian Green again in the right kind of position. He'll backheel this one in the middle. This is Gentner once again to Maxim. I was hoping Ginczek would make the run. He's still with it though, and the effort, I thought that deflected in, but it's out for a corner kick. And we'll take this one short. Ginczek already showing that he can still score goals for us. The header set in the middle. Unfortunately, it's cleared out. It's a nice takeaway by Klein. Pushing up from his right back position, just looking for the right option in the middle. This is Maxim and Asano looking to shoot. It got deflected on the way there. But great stuff from the Stuttgart's team so far. We're applying a lot of pressure. And compared to the last time we played Bochum, we're looking more promising. Here's a Fori. Showing some of his pace, and he is completely done the defense. He might have gotten taken out inside the penalty box. One of you guys need to have a counter for how many penalties we forced this season. It's too many to count on one hand, but we'll go ahead and take this one. A yellow card issued to the defender, and I think it probably will be Gentner taking this one. He's been the most consistent so far, and I believe he has the best penalty kick stats. Ginczek also not doing too bad, and he's actually better than Gentner, so we'll let Ginczek stay on it and see if we can put this one off to the right. And in the corner, he's completely fooled the keeper, and we're up 1-0. That's a great start for us. We'll look to add a couple more. Well, Bochum don't seem to be giving up quite yet. Now it's Eisfeld on the ball, playing it back into Malapa. It's Lasilla. Could shoot from here. He could look to pass. He finds the man on the right wing. Asano tracking back, and he does enough to take it away. Well done by the young kid, and now he's showing his pace. He's completely done the fullback, and we're going to try to let him go coast to coast. See if he can run from one end of the pitch to the other and finish it off with a goal. Again, his finishing will not be the best. Everything looking pretty solid on the statistics, minus the possession. That's clearly going Bochum's way, but we've got the 1-0 advantage due to the penalty kick. We'll try to make it 2 or 3-0 in the next 45 minutes. I'm really curious to see how our Youth Academy players will play, so I'm going to bring Cortez on for Green. Along with that, Maxim is coming off an injury. I don't want to risk anything, so Özkan will be finishing out this match. You know, I would argue that Bochum has been the better side in this second half. They're not getting too many efforts on target, and Langrek hasn't had much to do, but all it takes is one moment. And maybe Stiepermann can send in a cross. We're looking to contain. The cross sent in. Malapa rising up and going just wide. We've been lacking attacking chances in the last 20 minutes, so it's time for a change. Ginczek coming off, and it's time for Nunez to get his debut. And look at this. Link-up play between Cortez and Nunez, our two Youth Academy players. Cortez showing his ability to get by defenders. A nice Berber spin to cut inside. Go on, Cortez! A decent shot on target as well. I'm liking what I'm seeing from our Mexican talent, Cortez. And maybe we can score off this corner kick before he sends it in and cleared away. It's Nunez this time. We'll see what he can do. The Argentine striker showing some of his pace. Again, dribbling by the defenders. He crossed it in the middle, and now it's Asano to score. You cannot script this kind of stuff, and our young players continue to step up in these kind of games. Oh, Baumgartel, what an interception there. He saw the pass coming from a mile away, and he just stepped in front, not allowing Bochum to get a single chance in this second half. But now it's Özkan. We want to get a goal for our Youth Academy players, and now Cortez needs to show his pace and his dribbling ability. He's taken out by the defender. Ref, give him a red. This will probably be the final kick of the ball, and Gentner is going to float in across, see if we can make something happen, and we can knock this back inside. A decent bit of play, and Asano with an effort on target, but the match will probably end at 2-0. A solid defensive performance displayed there, but more importantly, a sign of things to come. Both Cortez and Nunez providing an impact on this match, and I'm going to continue to feature them in future fixtures. Asano, though, winning man of the match with an 8.2. Another scouting update coming through from our scout in Australia. We'll see if we can finally add a player to our Youth Academy, but unfortunately, these 3-star scouts just don't make the cut and I look forward to upgrading him. Confirmation has come through that Zimmerman has departed the club. We've had $650,000 added to our current transfer budget. I don't feel like this is quite enough to afford a transfer, so we'll have to wait for one more transfer offer to come in for Kevin Grosskreutz. And literally, as I say that, we've hit transfer deadline day and we have a transfer offer for Grosskreutz. We'll check out what it is and how much it's worth. $2.5 million from Berlin. You know what? I'm going to accept this straight away so that we can have as much time as possible to pursue our transfer targets. With the departure of Hosegai, Zimmerman, and Grosskreutz, we need a player that can play in the midfield and, if need be, fill in at fullback. And in my opinion, Calvin Acosta fits that description perfectly. This guy is so underused in career mode, and his value is only 1.3 million. That's well within our budget, so we will approach FC Dallas to sign him up. And we'll be starting off with a 1 million bid and go up from there. We still have 9 hours left on transfer deadline day, which should be plenty of time to make this deal happen. 2 pieces of news coming through. The Grosskreutz deal is officially complete, and FC Dallas not happy with our initial transfer offer. They've set a price tag of 2.4 million, which seems a bit high for Acosta, but we'll work with them and we'll start gradually going up with a few hours left on transfer deadline day. Our next offer coming in at 1.5 million. This transfer negotiation is starting to get a little bit concerning because FC Dallas has received 2 separate offers for Acosta, and the chances that we're going to sign him is starting to become a little bit more limited now. So we need to come in with a big offer and hopefully finalize this deal. The highest they've received is 1.9 million, so I'm going to come in straight away with a 2 million offer and hope that Acosta accepts this. This is honestly such great news. Dallas has accepted our 2 million bid for Acosta, and now the only thing that's keeping us from adding him to the club is the contract negotiations. And look at that, he's only wants 5 grand a week for his contract, and we'll obviously take that and bump him down to a squad rotation player. It's just a matter of whether he's willing to accept that role. Despite some other clubs pursuing negotiations, we have finalized the Kellen Acosta transfer deal. He's accepted the contract negotiations of 4 years, 5 grand a week on the wages. And guys, this is such a massive signing for this career mode. Acosta is a versatile player, and I know he can make his mark on this team. Let's welcome Kellen Acosta to VfB Stuttgart. Acosta is a player that has been red hot as of late, scoring 4 goals in 9 matches across all competitions. The defensive midfielder has had a dream start to 2017. His versatility is something that not many players can match, repeatedly showing his ability to play in a midfielder role as well as fullback for both club and country. Overall else, he will be a creator for us, but if the opportunity arises, he does boast the long shot taker trait. Although we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, in my opinion, Acosta's stats and playstyle draw some resemblances to a former Stuttgart player in Philipp Lahm. Despite being only 69 rated, he has some impressive statistics, and with training, I could see him easily surpassing an 80 rating by the end of this career mode. For right now, he'll be a squad rotational player, but with Gettner's ability declining with age, I'm certain that Acosta will be part of our future team plans. With transfer deadline day nearly complete, we'll take a look at the top deals, and the Manchester United striker glitch seems to well and truly be in action. Icardi and Lukaku have both joined the club, but we're not too concerned about that. We're concerned about our club. And guys, you know, we did receive some sizable bids from the likes of Ginczek and Maxim, and the reason I don't want to sell them yet is because we're halfway through the first season. I know they could be top goal scorers come the end of the season, and honestly, I don't feel like we need to make an improvements to this Stuttgart team right now. We're dominating the second Bundesliga. It's a different story when we're in the Bundesliga. Then I might start selling some players and looking for upgrades because we're going to be in more prestigious clubs. I don't think these high potential players will be wanting to join a second Bundesliga team, which is our current status. But this is the team we've got right now. I feel like it's so stacked in terms of depth. We've added some great signings. We've added some good youth academy players, and I'm really looking forward to the future of this career mode. But guys, that'll wrap things up for today's episode and the transfer window episode of the Stuttgart career mode. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, make sure you leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and if you're interested, you can follow me on my social links. They're provided in the description down below. But until next time, this has been Flick. I'll be talking to you guys again soon.